Hey out there, this is Kevin Strong with Strong Jacobs and Associates, and today is December 27th, 2020. It is a Sunday. I hope you guys had a great holiday. In today's news, I want to talk about credit card applications, Apple stores in the state of California, how retail is plummeting in the New York Times Square area, and finally, I want to end with FHA mortgage forbearance and kind of talk about that a little bit. So without further ado, let's get into the information. Starting off first, like I said, with credit card applications, apparently the amount of consumers that are applying for credit has gone down at a pretty substantial rate. And rejection rate is going up. Once again, this is the lending institution forecasting out in the future 6-12 months or farther down the road, saying we see more economic unstableness with the average consumer. Therefore, we're a little reluctant to extend credit. And that, in my humble opinion, is the reason why the rejection rate has ticked up somewhat within the last 3 to 4 months. Apple stores basically shut down in the whole state of California, is my understanding. Now, they're saying that this is due to health crisis related issues. Once again, I just think this is a strategic move at the corporate level to preserve capital, and the cloak and dagger story behind everything that's covering it up is the health crisis. Getting to retail now, a recent report came out and said that retail stores in the Times Square area in New York City is down almost 80%. So commercial real estate's probably, in my humble opinion, going to be one of the first dominoes to fall in the housing market, so to speak. And I think certain pockets will experience significant downturn, not only from a commercial standpoint, but housing as well. Once again, the caveat being real estate is local. So there will be markets that are either unaffected when there is a housing turn, or they could potentially go up because there's a migration from one state to the other. So just be aware of that. And finally, FHA mortgage moratoriums have been extended. There's been a little bit of confusion about this extension, and I've seen some pretty big YouTube channels actually not really getting it right. So I'm going to give you my interpretation. Hopefully mine isn't wrong, but one guy was basically saying, hey, if you have an FHA mortgage and if you've been in forbearance, it's been extended and you can stay in forbearance until 2022, which in essence would mean that if you have an FHA mortgage and you went into mortgage forbearance in 2020 in March, that essentially you can go 2 years without making a mortgage payment. That's not my interpretation. The law or the language in this extension kind of says something a little differently, and it uses the words or phrases initial application to forbearance. So if you've never been in forbearance before, because now we're in a second wave of the health crisis, some people who were not affected in March of 2020 may have gotten affected by this recent tick up in the COVID cases. So it's my understanding that FHA is saying, hey, for you guys who have just recently been hit by this second wave, who have never been in forbearance, we're going to extend forbearance to you because it was set up to expire in the end of December. So you can go for your traditional 6 months, and then after that you can apply for another 6 months. So the way I interpreted that is that saying that, hey, look, if you haven't filed forbearance before and you have an FHA mortgage, you're basically going to be good until around February or March of 2022, which is basically a year, which is the same time frame and protection that those who have or went into a mortgage forbearance in March of 2020 are probably due to expire March of 2021. So crazy situation out there. It's a lot to take in. Obviously, I'm really starting to adjust my prognostication when it comes to this housing market. I'm going to be honest. I'm really confused a little bit. I'm going to stand down on my prediction about some major changes in the housing crisis or the housing market in the second quarter of 2021. But I've said this before. What I think is going to happen is that because of this affordability crisis, a lot of people are living in homes that they can't afford because the value has gone up so much since they originally purchased the house. So when this person gets to the point where they don't have mortgage forbearance, hopefully they can get a loan modification, see me for something like that. But more importantly, if you if your mortgage forbearance protection has expired, your loan modification is unsuccessful, and then at that point the lender is legally allowed to pursue foreclosure on you, a lot of people are either going to file a Chapter 7 or 13. They're going to stall. They're not just going to throw away their keys and just walk away from the house like they did in 2008, because from an affordability standpoint, where do you go? Maybe you have a mortgage payment of $1,200, but the prevailing rent in that area might be $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 or higher. Your kids are in that school system. You're tied to that community. So people are not going to acquiesce and just freely give this house up. They're going to extend their stay well beyond the norm. And I think that could further exacerbate the housing market, because it could still constrict inventory. And as inventory continues to be small or limited, when something becomes available on the market, people are going to gobble it up. That will continue to not only stabilize house prices in certain areas, but it could continually push house prices even higher in certain markets in 2021. So I hope you found this video informative. Please comment and share, because I care. You know my motto: please pay down your debt before your debt gets a hold of you. And I'll see you in the next video.